3 out of 5 sets. First 4 sets to 25 points. Rally scoring. Must win by 2. Tiebreaker. 5th set will be played to 15. Nuneviller, very nicely done. And Willow Johnson playing in the opposite and hitting a number of different tempos across the net.
She sure can. She can run from the left side of the court. You see her running to the right on your screen, and she gets herself a one-on-one attack. That's not easy to do when you run to your right as a left-hander and then hit it back cross court.
Ball off the top of the tape. Boy, that looked like it hit the floor, and it might need another challenge.
And Coach Ulmer, very frustrated with that per day in the early tournaments. But then they don't play a lot of back-to-backs, and they have to do it first and second round, and then in the regionals. Very difficult for Oregon to bring the energy back after spending so much yesterday.
Willow Johnson ripping down the line after a good serve from Van der Weide to get Nebraska out of system.
And still around the 20-all mark, they'll look to do the same thing.
Tough for a left-hander sometime to hit out on the left in rotation number 1. Here's Lexi Sun. Van der Weide finding some rhythm as a passer, and so is Willow Johnson, who only had 1 swing in the opening set. She's already got 2 here immediately as Oregon goes out to the early 3-1 lead here in the second.
And she can hit with some range. We saw her going pretty sharp against Minnesota. When she took something off of it, she kept it inside the wide side.
Trailing here 7-5. Look at Fecky play some defense right on target.
Nice set.
Out of the back row, Fecky again. Willow Johnson, what a dig in the cross court by Miller.
Big backcourt swing from Willow Johnson. They want her in this particular rotation. Some big cuts with her left arm.
Nebraska's found something. They're getting Oregon out of system a lot. And Willow Johnson, again, wearing number 4 in green after a very quiet first set, just because she didn't get many opportunities already with her 3rd kill here in the second.
Well, you know what? He could throw 100 plus. She can probably hit about 70 plus. She's got that same whippy arm.
R.G. Ray.
Paul, there's also a different sound it makes when it hits the floor versus a hand, and that one was all floor.
Boy, Fecky looked like she was there, just not completely stretched out. Nice save by Willow Johnson, and that's outside the antenna. Ball must pass inside the antenna. Pretty good work that time by August Raske, negotiating, not only going after this ball, but working around one of our camera positions as well. There she goes.
She didn't have to run back between the cameraman and the table. She had a more direct path to the court. Love the hustle.
Nice rip that time on the combination play by Willow Johnson. Incredible work and concentration by our cameraman. I mean, are you kidding me? Never lost the shot and perfect framing.
And he moved. He got out of the way to give her space to get in.
Fecky rips down the line and missed it out of bounds. All the Nebraska players asking for a touch here. Let's take another look. 2 points ago, the stab by Willow Johnson. See, look at that. How do you keep that shot?
Energized. It's kind of like a Michaela Fecky kill to terminate a long rally for Nebraska.
Here's Hames working short. Taken by Page, and Willow Johnson is dug. Right side to Johnson again, and turned this one cross-body out of bounds down the line. Matt Ulmer's looking up at the scoreboard and thinking about a timeout. They have led throughout this second set. Dramatic reversal at 38-37 in the second set, where Samantha Seliger-Swenson thought that she had made a pancake, and she probably truly thought she had, because you know, you get 90% of the ball, you think you've gotten it cleanly, but only 10% of the ball on the floor, and the ball was ruled down. Oregon eventually went on and won. Another very, very tight call.
Paul, that one was across the net, but you could still see it was hair. That's the right call. Way too long of a delay, I grant you that. But over the long haul, you want to get the right call, and they'll get better at this over the next few years.
True. There is Johnson. I was about to say it had been pretty dangerous server Pretty good movement, but missed it badly.
Dangerous but inexperienced. She had never served in a competition in a match for Oregon until one of the last few regular season matches. They gave her a try. She's actually been quite effective, but now is not the time to serve out and give Nebraska a free side out. Really had trouble seeing that serve. She moved backward and then arrived very late. I can't believe any short serves should surprise the Ducks at this point.
They've seen about 25 of them so far. Schwarzenbach is dug. Sun tipping over the top. Ball kept alive. Free ball now coming to Nebraska. Not so free. Johnson down the line and off of Kenzie Maloney. Back to Lindsay Vanderweide, who carried a big load offensively, serve, receive, and attacking only 4. The outside hitters.
I would vote yes.
The outside hitters for Oregon have really been slowed by the Nebraska block and defense.
Another tough serve.
Willow Johnson able to restore order a little bit. Remember that Oregon hit for a huge number in the opening set, hit 294. Now that's a huge number against the defense of Nebraska, number 1 in the country. You look at what's happening now, they're hitting 248 for the match. And
offensively, but they're not doing nearly what they would want to slow down the offense of Nebraska. Both teams much more successful offensively than we saw last night in that Nebraska-Kentucky matchup.
Willow Johnson, nice play on the combination. Oregon in the dig-to-kill phase. Their numbers have to not be anywhere near what they were last night. And Ronica Stone has been pretty quiet through much of this third set. Nebraska leading 2-0 in 15-12. Good touch. Can Oregon turn it into a point? Yes, they can. Off the edge of Jazz Sweet and out of bounds.
Effective seams in causing, just completely breaking down the offense for Oregon. There's a better pass.
Working on Vanderweide, and Oregon really versatile offensively, moving Willow Johnson into the middle to hit a second tempo.
Yeah, she can hit from any spot on the court, but it only works because of that good contact by Vanderweide. And if they don't get many of those, then Willow Johnson can't be effective like that.
Bad pass here, ball on top of the net. And rising, thinking, and using the entire court. Babyface, she looks like she should be about a freshman in high school.
Playing, yeah, club volleyball, but those are such smart swings. She's taken the block completely out of the play.
Willow Johnson into the cross court and finds just a sliver of the sideline. And so here comes Oregon now, only trailing by 3 at 15-12.
And remember in that last matchup, John points.
Here is Samity. Pittman going off speed.
Nice set.
Oregon's got to take advantage of these opportunities. Willow Johnson off of Samity and out of bounds. So now Willow Johnson, the big left-hander, working the cross court on the wrist away. She's got 3 kills now on 5 swings. Oregon's hitting 250. Minnesota's hitting a cool 440.
Been impressed with Samity's defense in the backcourt. Come up with 2 or 3 tough plays.
Another opportunity. Bore up a little bit tight.
Nice.
Good read by Rollins. And Willow Johnson missed that opportunity, and August Rasky can't track it down.
Can take advantage of that big time. Great choice by Seliger Swinson.
Wow. Here's McGraw. Borup has yet to really get involved in this match, and they need her offense out on the left side. Ball set a little bit tight. Willow Johnson slicing inside. Couple of points ago, back to Taylor Morgan.
Just one
swings, and it is Oregon coming away with a score.
All of them by Pittman. Yes, Paul.
I was just going to say, why not have Willow serve? I mean, her father was almost unhittable, so you got to guess the daughter is almost unpassable.
I'm surprised it took that long. Place finish and a 15 seed in the tournament.
That's a hat you might only see in Minnesota. Vanderweider starting to heat it up. Nice dig by Pittman.
Yes.
The middle blocker in the cross court. And Willow Johnson, after the challenge was upheld and confirmed, coming through with a nice kill.
Boy, that fast set, that set to Willow Johnson is in the air for only...
Building. They played North Carolina back in 2014, losing in that particular match, their last trip to the regionals. Excuse me, of course their last trip would have been in 2012 when they went to the NCAA finals.
Nice swing by Johnson. And again, she's gotten very little chances in her career to serve. Maybe that's part of the reason why, but when it goes over the net, it's actually creating lots of chaos because she can get the ball up in the air and then be an offensive weapon.
Willow Johnson showing her versatility, hitting multiple rhythms off the right side.
Willow Johnson, watch her run all the way across the court, right to left on your screen, and that is not easy to do as a left-handed hitter and to do it on a quick set. The ball is barely out of the setter's hands.
All-American, outside attacker, opposite actually, blocks outside, Samity. Good pass. Borup down the line, dug by Seliger-Swenson. Nobody available out on the left. Got to go to Johnson and finds a seam in the block, tied again.
Huge kill by Johnson. The advantage was to Minnesota. The only place they could set, Oregon could set, was her row, but they can't take her out anymore, so Van Sickle stays in.
Van Sickle's shown a pretty good arm. She may be undersized, but she can swing. Good pass. Combination play ripped to the floor by Johnson. What a clutch pass that time by Vanderweider.
Clutch pass. You can see her jumping in the way of other passers, but now you have Samity lined up across the net against a 5'9" Van Sickle. I would expect the back set from Seliger-Swenson, even on this kind of a pass.
Off speed to Van Sickle. Off the edge of the block and down. I told you she had an arm, KK.
She does have an arm, but she was swinging to...
Set point number 9. Last serve by Johnson was pretty good.
I would look.
Twice in a row. Yes! Brooke Van Sickle with a couple of back-to-back kills. Give me some playing time, coach. How about that? Oregon wins the second set, 41-39, on the strength of defensive specialist Brooke Van Sickle.
His people, and how flexible can they be? Because nobody has seen this lineup from Oregon this season. Some teams will get really thrown off by that. Others will just relish the challenge of adjusting on the fly.
First look at number 4 in green, Willow Johnson, 6'2" sophomore out of Paradise Valley, Arizona. Taylor August comes from Happy Valley, Oregon. So coming from some beautiful places on this team. Back outside to August again. Nice soft block and touch by Stanford. And Moretta Lutz ripping inside of Gill.
Yeah, she is tough over there. Coach Hamley talked about one of the things they want to do is get her the ball more in transition. She is not the fleetest of foot, so she has to work really hard to come down off the block, get off the net, and then get available as a hitter.
On the year, really good numbers and an outstanding blocker, and that time ball set too close to the net, forcing an unforced error against the University of Oregon. So a 4-0 run for the Stanford Cardinal to take the 13-12 lead.
Way too close to the net for a 6'8" blocker who's reaching about 3 feet over. Don't put it in her hand.
I know there aren't many phone booths anymore, but that was one of them.
Absolutely. You've got Lutz, and you've got, I think it was against Arizona, to switch midstream and put her at the outside.
Johnson with another look, trying to go inside, dug again by Plummer. And McClure, a little bit of off speed inside the block and down.
And they know. We even heard Coach Coach Matt talk about it. Coach Matt Ulmer, that this setter for Stanford, Jenna Gray, can be very active. You got to be careful as a coach, because if you emphasize that too much, all of a sudden your blockers are on her and they're ignoring hitters.
Willow Johnson able to kill that ball into the cross court, averaging just under 3 kills per set. The daughter of Hall of Famer, the big unit, Landie-Johnson. Champions, you think the momentum of winning set number 1 would be really important. Moretta Lutz absolutely ripping out of the back row.
You don't see a lot of high efficiency swings out of the back row from most college hitters, not even at the international level. But we've seen 2 great swings, one from Catherine Plummer and then from Lutz there to get Stanford out of trouble. 23-18. When you're that good offensively, you can take more chances at the service line.
Right over the top of the block by number 17, once again, Moretta Lutz out of Houston, Texas. And of course, Houston hit so hard by Hurricane Harvey, but I was talking to the SID and talking to Moretta earlier today. Fortunately for her home, her family home was not affected by the hurricane, but the Houston area and much of Texas was really devastated.
No section of ball across the plane of the net for her to touch.
That's a good call. Willow Johnson coming right back, ripping off the right side.
That's a really hard play for younger middles, even at the international level, to master that. You have to wait until the ball on the overpass comes something out of nothing, and it usually goes bad when that happens. Good pass, though. Way to respond.
Quick to the outside, Van de Weyde, a beautiful dig by Hintz.
Can they get the swing? There's a set.
Willow Johnson, number 4 in green, into the cross court. Big swing by Johnson. Only hit 225 last year, Karch. Much stronger this year, now up to 332. That's a huge jump.
And this is what we would call an out-of-system set, a slower set, not from a setter. But when they run with their speed, she is devastating behind. They go very fast to that left-handed opposite.
Fitzmaurice,
just as we saw in the first set, very close at the media break, and then Stanford pulling away with their experience and the fact that they have so many 5 returning starters out of 7. Boom from Moretta Lutz on the left side.
Crack-a-lacka from Moretta Lutz. But why is Oregon serving Morgan Hintz? A perfect pass by one of the best libros in the country. They're wearing number 9 in the white jersey. Service error there, clearly.
They will have to be careful, though, if a team's better offensively, Stanford's going to have to be careful. They can't afford to do that all season long.
Ball dug right on top of the net. Moretta Lutz, 6'8", knows exactly what to do with that. Well, Stanford goes out on the road again. Why not? 13 out of their first 17 matches away from Palo Alto, but Moretta Lutz and the number 2 Stanford Cardinal rolling right now against the University of Oregon. We'll step aside. Karch Kirai will have a conversation.
Any good left side hitter that opponents have to throw at them. Another dig where Oregon does not get a swing in transition.
Moretta Lutz with a second opportunity. We talked about it. Oregon has dug more balls than Stanford, but they're not doing enough with them. Why?
And you can't give Stanford a second chance. You got to get a good swing. It starts with digging the ball high and off the net, so that some passing position all season long. Oregon's playing a different lineup than they'd hoped to. First time they've played with this.
Oh, crack-a-lacka by Moretta Lutz. 3rd team All-American last year, was 2nd team in 2014 and 2015. And when she came to Stanford, her former head coach, John Dunning, recruited her out of Houston, Texas, and said, look, we're going to redshirt you your first year. And what a player she has become.
He didn't feel she was physically prepared for the demands of college volleyball. There's some nice speed behind from Oregon, but didn't feel Lutz was ready. And as her career progressed, they still didn't feel like she was prepared physically to jump off 1 foot. So you see her mostly attacking off 2 feet.
Willow Johnson now with her 4th kill on 9 swings off the right side. Here's Maggie Scott. And that ball, because of the injuries tonight against Stanford.
as Oregon's chance.
Back to Johnson again, over the top of the block and down. Willow Johnson with a couple of really impressive swings and a pretty good chest bump. Save your jumps. You might be here for a while.
It's been a long day of jumping. Well, you don't often, Paul, get a run on Stanford. You hate to end it with a service error. Just the first run Oregon's really had in this whole match.
And Stanford has struggled in serve receive. And they continue to struggle. Free ball coming for Oregon. Willow Johnson again. And Kevin Hambley-Karch can wait no longer. He calls his second and last timeout as Oregon has tied this third set at 18 apiece, and the crowd is right back in it.
And there, Oregon making a really nice choice to go at a better blocking target. Really had a blocker and a half against Willow Johnson. A great look for her. All runs by a good first and second contact.
Willow Johnson now with 6 kills on 15 swings. Taylor August leading the way with 9. On the other side, Plummer and Fitzmaurice both with 10 kills apiece followed.
Homer said, we're in the quarter system. We haven't even started classes yet, so we don't want to. They could be in the gym for very lengthy amounts of time. He said, you really have to balance it. And Minnesota out of that timeout. Good comeback. They go to Willow Johnson.
Willow Johnson down the line, and you'd like to see her a little bit more. I think when Oregon's out of system, they rely so much on that outside rather than getting Willow Johnson the ball maybe a little slower because she's such a great outlet.
Minnesota lead. There's Samity with the serve. Back set to Johnson off the block, the touch. It'll go to the Ducks. Willow Johnson, the junior from Paradise Valley, Arizona. Coming into this match, hitting .430. She's been impressive.
Right, so there's a player you look at and say, if she gets going, which she has this season so far, then that is going to change it all for Oregon. That's a huge, huge outlet for the defense. I think if it gets through the block, it's not coming up. She hits
not much
so
chance,
hard.
Johnson had to hurry. It grazes McGraw, and it'll be a point to Oregon.
Anytime you have that left-handed attacker there on the right side, it's so hard to read.